This is hilarious.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Call me crazy. Go ahead. Call me crazy. And I could just be someone who's completely in love with their husband, so I can't relate to Erica here. What? There are very few instances that one can make a statement and say but afterwards, and this isn't one of them. Saying no one can replace my dead husband but is wild. And I'm just curious, Erica, what similarities do you see between your dead husband, Charlie Kirk, and JD Vance? Like, I know JD's soul is dead, but that's not the same thing. Just saying. And the wholly awkward inappropriateness didn't end there. Not JD out here hugging Erica Kirk for longer than he's maintained eye contact with his wife. What? Where's the lie? And I know what some of you guys are gonna say. He was just consoling her. Yeah, and Matt Gaetz was just babysitting. All right. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh. Erica has said that JD is like family to her, which would explain this kind of energy. Nothing says conservative values more than some awkward distant cousin sexual tension. A family gathering wouldn't be the same without it. Or perhaps their friendship is just divine, right? Like lips of an angel. My girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish she was you. I kid. We all know Erica Kirk and JD Vance believe in traditional marriages. But technically, they've never said whose. Trump is his mentor after all. Let me stop. I'm being too petty here, given the sensitive nature and things that happened to Charlie Kirk. I'm sure he's resting in peace knowing that Erica is in good hands. Except those hands just happen to be wrapped around her hips. What was that? As for Usha girl, I don't know what to tell you. Other than if another woman caressed and grabbed the back of my husband's head like that, she'd be reunited with her late husband a lot sooner than she thought. I'm just saying. Good luck with that, girly pop. Anyways, bye.
Yo, this guy JD Vance is such a loser, man. He continues to disrespect his wife and his children so publicly. I get secondhand embarrassment from this guy. Let's talk about the way he caressed Erica Kirk as they were touching each other in a pretty weird way on stage at the Turning Point USA event the other night. And then you've got the fact that JD Vance at that same event went on and on about how he wishes his wife was Christian and not Hindu, and that he hopes one day she'll come to her senses and come to Christ. He's forcing her to go to church with him. Ridiculous. Like, just let the woman believe in what she wants to believe. You married her, right? Why are you trying to change her? And then you've got the fact that JD Vance seems to neglect the fact that his wife is Indian, his children are Indian, when he goes out and says that he wants America to be a white Christian nationalist society and that he wants to cut off immigration. The only way this guy will become president is if Trump resigns or passes away. Let's hope that doesn't happen because he would be a disgrace to our country.
Just one hug. But in American politics, one hug can shake the entire internet. Vice President J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk, widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, set the room on fire, and the internet soon followed. Why did a moment that seemed harmless turn into the biggest political storm of the week? At the Turning Point USA event on October 29th, Erica Kirk made her first public appearance since the assassination of her husband, Charlie Kirk, the organization's founder. In her speech, she said, "I see some of my husband's qualities in J.D. Vance." Vance walked on stage, smiling, and embraced her amid applause. But cameras captured the moment that ignited social media, his hand resting on her waist, her hand brushing through his hair. A fleeting gesture, yet enough to spark millions of views, thousands of comments, and endless speculation. Supporters called it empathy, a sign of compassion and shared grief in politics. Critics called it a boundary-crossing moment, unfit for the image of national leadership. Across social media, the clip became a wildfire of memes, commentary, and conspiracy theories, from political affection to hidden messages between two powerful figures. With J.D. Vance rising as a major Republican figure and Erica Kirk now carrying her late husband's legacy, that moment was no longer private. Sometimes politics doesn't need words, just a hug. But in an age where every lens is open, every gesture can become a statement. J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk may have shared a genuine moment of humanity. Yet the public saw something bigger: power, emotion, and the thin line between empathy and scrutiny. One moment, one image, and all of America is talking.
Yes, I'm a conspiracy theorist. However, I'm very particular about the conspiracies that I choose to believe. And the most recent one certainly perked my interest when I heard that Erica Kirk could be swooping in on J.D. Vance. Now, you might be saying, that's crazy. I thought it at first too, but then I saw the videos with the body language. I heard some of the things that they've said about each other and read between the lines. And it certainly makes me wonder, could there be something to this? The biggest thing that has me questioning it is the fact that J.D. Vance's wife, which I cannot think of her name, doesn't have the same religious beliefs as he. So that could be really big. Like that can be huge. And the fact that they got together in college, you know, when you're just kind of more open to things, whereas now he's in such a leadership position and you start to become a little bit more firm on your beliefs. Does Erica Kirk align with those beliefs more so? And could we see an accident soon that's going to allow her to swoop in? More to come.
The defense wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
This does not look normal whatsoever. Everything about this feels off. Like, lady, wasn't your husband taken out for the world to see? And you're wearing tight leather pants? I guess she ditched the whole trad wife routine faster than they found Tyler Robinson. No friends run their hands through a man's hair. This is not a hug of grieving and comfort. Literally, no grieving widow acts like this, skipping straight to acceptance and selling merch. Why is he holding her waist? Then she says she sees similarities of her husband in JD.
But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President J.D. Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight.
Seconds later, J.D. Vance says he wants his wife to become a Christian. What Christian values are on show here? J.D. Vance is on the Christian grift and it's so blatantly obvious. Do not let these people manipulate you. None of this feels real. Every move feels staged. It just makes me believe more and more that Erica Kirk was in on it. Because once people start seeing it, the whole act falls apart.
There's a whole lot of weird going on here, and I'm not the only person who noticed it. In fact, even Republicans are noticing it and talking about it. And honestly, some of them actually seem pretty happy about it. So first of all, let me stop her right there real quick. She's about to introduce J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a racist who's the vice president of the United States. Charlie Kirk was just a racist. I mean, if you're talking about someone replacing him, you would be talking about like a step down. Like, in the hierarchy of racists, J.D. Vance has made it higher than Charlie Kirk ever did. And unless you're talking about dating someone, what do you mean they can never replace your husband? Unless you're talking about making them the stepfather of your kids, what do you mean they can never replace your husband? And is it just me, or did it seem like she has no idea what Usha Vance's name is? Like, she's like his wife, then makes this kind of weird face, then just pauses like she's trying to think, what the hell was her name again? But she doesn't know it, so then she doesn't say it. But it gets weirder. And again, I'm telling you, I'm not the only person who noticed this. There are a lot of people talking about this. And again, a lot of Republicans who seem to be happy about this, who seem to be thinking, if this were to happen, that would be great. This one says, where is it? Oh, this one says, I'm not saying JD Vance and Erica Kirk colluded to kill Charlie, but I am saying Usha is toast. Dang. This one actually does cut kind of deep. And I was like, should I read that one? It says, JD Vance grew up on food stamps, but now he's having Charlie Kirk's leftovers. Damn. This one says, JD Vance is not popular with MAGA. Enter Erica Kirk. Stay alert. A whole new cult of personality is about to be born. And that leads me to this one, which when I said these Republicans and MAGAs seem to be a little bit too happy about this, there's one where this Republican posted this. He said, this is JD Vance's biggest political problem in 2028. How on earth is he going to get the MAGA base to accept her? With a picture of Usha pointing out that she's a brown person who is not a Christian. And this lady says he's going to get a divorce. He's going to be set up with Erica Kirk. Bet. And I've seen a couple of other tweets where people are talking about how, if JD Vance and Erica Kirk were to get together.
The worst part about this absolutely horrific Taylor Swift album is that all of the millennial MAGA women are going to absolutely eat it up and be like, oh my God, this is so real. She used just the perfect mix of vocabulary to where I almost understand it. Thank God she didn't fucking use any big words this time. Also, the song Canceled is just so me. Like, that's actually me and my entire family, because so many people have cut me off because I'm a racist. This is just so relatable. Like,
I'm telling you right now, Erica Kirk is going to somehow, some way end up with JD Vance. I'm telling you, I know it for a fact. Something in me, something's telling me that she is going to end up with this man. Somehow, some fucking way. Erica Kirk is going to be with JD Vance. That shit is going to break the internet. That shit is going to transcend the internet like ain't never seen before. That shit is going to break the world. Christians will feel it. Everybody and their mama will feel that effect. What that would be. What? That shit will break the internet, break the world. What? I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. I see it. I know it. It's going to happen. She just said she sees similarities in JD Vance that she sees in Charlie Kirk. She's a woman. It's not only but too much until she falls. Especially in today's world, in today's time, cheating is normalized. Cheating is okay, apparently. And at the end of the day, because she a woman and she ain't with nobody, and due to her losing her husband and going through all that by herself, and JD Vance is right there beside her to protect her, she is going to fall for him. He is going to fall from her. It's going to happen eventually. I know it. I feel it. I see it. Give it time. Give it time. This shit is going to break the world. This shit is going to be major. This is going to be headline. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be the biggest story ever. Better than any relationship couple. The evilness that comes out of that. You ain't seen nothing like it. Nothing. That's history forever. Ain't no couple will be able to top that type of foulness that they would. Nothing. Especially to the Christians, to the believers. this shit will be something. You ain't never thought would happen or seen before. Complete evil.
As a woman of color, I don't care what happens to Usha Vance. I mean, we all saw it coming. A tale as old as time. An extremely educated and successful woman of color marries a white man. As per usual, a woman of color with an extremely promising career gives it all up to bear and raise his children. In case you aren't aware, Usha Vance is of Indian descent. Her parents are immigrants to California and raised her with Hindu faith. She went to Stanford University and met J.D. Vance when she was at Yale Law. As a registered Democrat voting for the Democratic Party for several years, in 2022 she decided to switch teams and register as a Republican. This woman went to Stanford and to Yale Law, only to be disrespected on stage and asked to completely convert her religion, her belief, and her entire identity as a Hindu Indian woman to go ahead and somehow move towards Christianity. I mean, whatever happened to unconditional love and loving your spouse no matter what? Now, maybe I'm a little too conservative and a prude for these conservative evangelical Christians, but I've never hugged my guy friends where it's pelvis to pelvis. I don't even think I've ever held any of the guys I've dated this close. Now, the only time that my pelvis touches that of a man is when I'm straddling him and I'm about to smash. And we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, I have a conspiracy theory. For entertainment purposes only, though. Okay, so Erica Kirk, JD Vance, we all saw that hug, right? All right, so here's my theory. As we know, Trump is rapidly declining, and MAGA is gonna fall unless they have some sort of safety net, right? So in comes Erica Kirk, and she's saying, no, JD Vance, he's got my support. Like, he's so good, right? So that way, MAGA will be like, well, if she says JD Vance is, like, good to go, then we should support him, too. That's it. That's my conspiracy. JD Vance would be, like, fucking howdy doody up there. And he's got the strings, right? So, do you see what I'm saying? MAGA needs Erica Kirk's support of JD Vance to keep this whole charade going so they can stay in power. Oh, and lastly, release the fucking Epstein files already. Stop protecting pedophiles.
Y'all, I did not know that JD Vance was going to be answering questions from students and participants, whoever came up. That was so interesting. Like, not everybody agreed with, like, the Trump administration or, like, certain policies and stuff. It was wild. I have never seen so many MAGA hats in my entire life. Almost every person was wearing one, except for maybe, like, 100 people.
So many people are talking about Erica Kirk and Usha Vance and JD Vance and all of that stuff. So I saw some of the videos, and I don't know if it's just because I've covered Charlie Kirk, everything so much, and that my For You page is obviously pushing that content towards me. But here's my opinion to everybody talking about it. Like, people have so many opinions, and that's their right? But some of it is very, probably hurtful to the Kirk and Vance family, but I understand they're in the public eye, But at the end of the day, here's what I have to say. When Charlie Kirk's body was flown on Air Force Two back, Erica took that plane ride with Usha, who she spoke so highly of, and with JD. And she sat there and, they were the ones right by her side during that. When you have almost like a trauma bond with somebody, there is like a certain level of closeness that you have with them that I would assume is probably more like a family member, And she talked about, some of the things that Usha Vance said. And I remember during the memorial, Erica Kirk was talking about one of the things that stuck with her that Usha said was, how you're traveling with little kids and you're on the plane ride and it's the last 15 minutes of the plane ride. And I'm probably saying this wrong, but it was something along these lines. Like, it's the last 15 minutes of the plane ride and your kids are being crazy and you're just like wishing the plane would end. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just wish it would end. And you make it through those 15 minutes. And you don't know how you're going to do it, but you make it through. And she said, you will make it through this 15 minutes and you will make it through the next and the next. It was a very powerful statement. And I guess all of this to say, and I've said this before, if your husband wasn't publicly assassinated in front of a crowd of people, yourself and your children, and you didn't fly on a plane to bring his body back, and you didn't have to relive it and see it on social media all the time with the video replaying and replaying, if you didn't live that, I don't think you can nitpick the way that somebody grieves in general or the closeness that they feel to the people who were by their side during that time who didn't necessarily have to be. And that's my opinion.
Something seems a little fishy and scary. As JD Vance said, it's about to get a lot worse. He said there's already people suffering in the world from losing SNAP benefits. And he said the worst is yet to come. What the fuck do you mean the yet is worse to come? You need to help fix that shit. Y'all need to stop whatever the fuck is going on, because a lot of people are going to be starving and dying if they don't fix anything and get shit done. We're going to have a lot of people hungry and starving. And not to mention, people already running around robbing stores, looting stores. It's about to get bad, man. And not only that, Erica Kirk just said she sees similarities in JD Vance like her husband. What the fuck does that mean?
This has been my obsession since we all watched Charlie Kirk be executed in front of the world. And then a lot of people lie about it. And a lot of people who were not acting right or grieving right, who were his closest comrades and business partners. And let's be frank, as I get inch closer and closer to discovering the truth, we should recognize that this is pretty dangerous stuff. And my theory now, I feel confident stating that Charlie Kirk was taken out by something much bigger than Turning Point USA organization that he was running, and certainly much bigger than Tyler Robinson on the Low C rooftop, who I don't even think was even stepped foot on the campus that day. And I think another thing that I should mention is just how positively sad it is. We can reflect on how sad it is already that there are so many people in the world who are convinced. They've emailed me. I mean, I've received an unbelievable amount of emails from people that are convinced that Charlie's actually still alive, right? And it's not sad because those people are crazy. They're actually reacting to the lack of emotion and the lack of drive that is coming out of Turning Point USA to figure out who killed him. That's what they're reacting to. So they came to, okay, this is so unnatural, the reaction of these individuals who were so close, that the more logical, sensible conclusion is that they actually know where Charlie is and he's perfectly alive. Yeah, that is how absurd they are acting. Just move on. Just donate to Turning Point USA. This is what Charlie would want. And that's his legacy.
Because here's the thing. Why would they need Erica to stand up on stage and speak so highly of this man when he already had a freaking wife? And not just any wife, a brown girl at that. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm flipping saying? Throughout history, especially American history, in the way that we were colonized on this land, it is always the wife, the Caucasian wife of said white man who goes to the public to basically validate that he's a good person, all while watching him do atrocious, I can't even talk, while doing terrible things. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you pick up what the F I'm putting down? They got this woman on stage going to bat for this man when he already has a wife that could have done it. She's the one that birthed his kids. Okay? She's the one who has been in his corner, okay, more than anybody. She's the one who has cleaned up the effing plaque out of the sink, okay? Washed his dirty ass socks and made sure that his doodle stained drawers was clean for the week ahead. So who knows him better than anyone? His wife. So what was the need and the purpose of having this woman go up on stage and speak so highly of him when his wife could have fucking done it? So not only are we witnessing a man being built up for presidency possibly in the future, but also this blonde-haired white woman doing the work that his wife could have done. Y'all, do you hear what I'm picking up? Do you pick up what I'm putting down today? Oh my God.
Putting your hands in a man's hair when you hug him, that is a very intimate thing to do. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about that, it's because we're talking about the hug heard around the world. And everyone was trying to come for JD Vance by showing this image where he had his hand on his hip. But if you watch the video, this is not what it looks like. His hand brushed, like, he's not the problem here. This is what I have a problem with. Girl, what are you doing? Now, I went and visited my old job last week or a week or two ago, and I saw some of my old coworkers who were men, who I was close with. They were like my friends. And when I saw them, it had been a while, so I gave them hugs. And I started thinking to myself, if I had, like, put my hands on the back of their heads when I hugged them, how inappropriate. Like, they would have been like, whoa, what the fuck? I don't know. Dude, Usha, girl, you're in danger. She's with the leather pants and the crop top. I would be upset if someone did that to my husband or boyfriend. I'm just saying. Putting your hands in a man's hair when you hug him, that is a very intimate thing to do. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about that, it's because we're talking about the hug heard around the world. And everyone was trying to come for JD Vance by showing this image where he had his hand on his hip. But if you watch the video, this is not what it looks like. His hand brushed, like, he's not the problem here. This is what I have a problem with. Girl, what are you doing? Now, I went and visited my old job last week or a week or two ago, and I saw some of my old coworkers who were men, who I was close with. They were like my friends. And when I saw them, it had been a while, so I gave them hugs. And I started thinking to myself, if I had, like, put my hands on the back of their heads when I hugged them, how inappropriate. Like, they would have been like, whoa, what the fuck? I don't know. Dude, Usha, girl, you're in danger. She's with the leather pants and the crop top. I would be upset if someone did that to my husband or boyfriend. I'm just saying.
This whole JD Vance and Erica Kirk thing, it's all set up. It was all set up from the beginning. And this is how. What the government and the powers to be do, they put people together. They're strategic with it. They put Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk together. All right, boom, put them together. And they saw the influence that they had over a certain area of people in the U.S. They saw the influence and the power they had. So then JD Vance. JD Vance comes along, and I don't know why. They put JD Vance with Usha, an Indian woman, right? They put those two together. And they said, all right, we want to try to, blend something together, get both sides of the aisle. And then they said, well, JD Vance, we want you to be the next vice president. And we want you to jump ship and jump on the opposite side of the views that you already displayed in the beginning. Remember, JD Vance had that video about he doesn't like Trump. He thinks Trump is an idiot. Right? Remember that video? Go ahead and search it. It's not AI. But what I'm getting at is they put those two couples together. Charlie and Erica and JD and Usha. Right? So then they said, you know what? You know who'll be a better couple? JD Vance and Erica Kirk. So now this is what it is. It's a campaign now Because we all know after Trump, the Republicans and the MAGA are going to endorse JD Vance. And what he needs is a first lady who the Charlie Kirk fan base, the MAGA fan base will embrace. They're not going to embrace Uma or Usha. They're not going to embrace her, right? So what's happening now is, I'm going to mention race, okay? What's happening now is, it's the white woman blonde hair effect. Anytime in government, something needs to be pushed or an agenda needs to be pushed without you overanalyzing it and scrutinizing it, they put a white woman with blonde hair in front. In this instance, Erica Kirk has a sob story. So a lot of people are not criticizing her and critiquing her because they said she just lost her husband, and they have the "aw" effect. And what they're doing is they're pulling the wool over our eyes, because who wants to say, you know what, she's not even crying? Who wants to say, you know what, she's been a little too friendly with the vice president, right? So she's introducing the vice president. She's like, oh, well, my friend JD, Vice President JD. She knows what she's doing, but this is all strategic. They are trying to put those two together because he's going to make a presidential push, and they already know that the Kirk fan base loves some Erica Kirk. Don't say nothing bad about Erica Kirk. Let her fake cry. Okay? Let her go ahead and make basically an endorsement for JD Vance. Because when she introduced JD Vance, she basically said, hey, Turning Point USA and all my followers, I want you to start following JD Vance because he's going to make a presidential run and I'm going to be the first lady. See what I'm saying? And also what JD Vance said about his Indian wife, saying that, you know, he wants to convert her and things like that, how he doesn't want to live next door to immigrants speaking another language. His wife is an immigrant. No, his wife's family are immigrants. And I'm sure she speaks another language. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I say, y'all gotta look into this a little deeper, because all this is organized and strategic. The Kirk, Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk, whoever they are, powers to be, put those two together. JD Vance and Usha, they put those two together. You see what I'm saying? It's all strategic. And eventually what's going to happen is we're going to see a presidential candidate of JD Vance, and he will be remarried to what would be potentially the first lady, Erica Kirk Vance.
Please tell me I was not the only one who went when they saw the way that JD Vance and Erica Kirk embraced each other at that event. Because I'm sorry, if anybody had ever touched my husband, there'd have been some broken fingers. Okay. If you guys want to hear my working theory about what I think is happening here, go pour yourself whatever, coffee, alcohol, whatever. So first, let's start with the players. All right. We had the 4 players, right? Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, JD Vance, and Usha Vance. All right. Well, Charlie Kirk, we all know what happened to him on September 10th. And if you guys go back to my video, literally the day after he was unalive, I said that I thought that a certain nation was involved in that. And it looks like that's probably what happened. But anyway, so he's no longer in the picture. All right. Now that makes Erica Kirk a widow. Now Erica Kirk was raised Catholic and she is now a widow. Okay. Which means that she is free to marry. Okay. Hold on to that. All right. Then you have JD and Usha Vance. And Usha is a Hindu, but JD is, of course, a convert Catholic, right? He converted in 2019. So in order for JD and Erica to get married, yes, that's the premise of my theory. Don't worry, I brought receipts. He would have to have that marriage annulled, the marriage between himself and Usha. So when I heard JD make the comment at Old Miss the other day about how he basically hopes that, Usha comes around and decides to basically practice Christianity, I thought, oh my God, that's what he's doing. He's laying the foundation for an annulment, okay? Because if I was raised Catholic, if you're married Catholic, you can't marry another Catholic unless you have that marriage annulled. So I'm guessing that what JD Vance is going to do is going to try to have his marriage to Usha annulled. No, I am not joking. Yes, I do think this is going to happen. And he's going to say that because there isn't religious alignment, right? Okay, so then that would free him up to be able to marry Erica Kirk. Now, why would I think that JD Vance and Erica Kirk would get married? Well, first off, that hug was a little steamy, okay? I was like, leave some room for Jesus, y'all. So Charlie Kirk is unalived on September 10th. On September 19th, the Department of Labor comes up with Project Firewall, which JD Vance was a keynote speaker at. And basically, if you'll look at these images on screen, and yes, these are real, you can go verify them on the Department of Labor's Twitter account. But what do we see? What do all these people have in common? They're all white, right? So the short version is that he basically is saying, yeah, we're going to protect, close our borders and really just focus on making sure that white people are taken care of. Okay. Now, if you remember a couple months ago, JD Vance did a speech at something called the Claremont Institute. And he was basically saying that they should redefine what is American, as that people who had fought in the Civil War are the only people who, their lineage are the only people who are truly American. Now, it is important to mention that JD Vance does have Civil War blood on both sides of his family. And I think this is a good time for me to mention that 5 months ago, I did a video basically saying that as we moved further into this, that JD Vance would have to get rid of Usha because brown skin, Indian, Hindu religion, biracial children, that just wasn't going to fly if JD Vance was meant to be the heir apparent to Trump, which I think it's pretty obvious that he is. So now what do we have happening, right? We have obviously Usha Vance looks miserable, all right? Erica Kirk is a widow. Then you have Erica Kirk and JD Vance doing that steamy little hug on stage the other day, which was wildly inappropriate. But let's go back to the Claremont Institute for a second. JD Vance has a lot to do with the Claremont Institute. And these people are like hardcore fundamentalists, all right? They really believe in like white nationalist, like America, okay? And Erica Kirk was in the same orbit, right, because of TPUSA. So that means that Erica Kirk and JD Vance are both Catholic, and they're both circling around the same donors. They're all politically aligned. They all want the same fundamentalist things. And this would be a fun time to mention that they're both super pro-Israel, right? Because a lot of people think, and this is what I postulated in my video, that Charlie Kirk was moving away from Israel, and that's why he was removed from the equation. But Erica Kirk is super pro-Israel. So is JD Vance. So keeping these two together means that not only is there ideological alignment between them, right, that they both want a white Christian nation, but they're also both pro-Israel. This is the part that is like genuinely disturbing. A lot of people would have thought, oh, well, him being married to Usha, like that's a liability, but it's not. Him being married to Usha, which is what I said in my video many months ago, is actually an opportunity. Because what JD Vance can say is, and again, guys, this is just my working theory, okay? He could say, like, basically, I am so dedicated to this white nationalist state that I am willing to purge even my own home, all right, to get rid of my non-white wife because I'm so dedicated to the cause. Have his marriage between himself and Usha annulled, marry Erica, and then now all of a sudden we have JD Vance and Erica Kirk. They just became America's power couple. So they're white, Christian, both fundamentally nationalists. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to like, repost, and follow for updates, and leave the secret words, "You're not fooling anyone," in the comments section. If you guys enjoy my content, follow me over here on YouTube in case something happens to my account over here on TikTok. So I think it's kind of obvious to everybody that JD Vance was always meant to sort of assume the presidency, but I couldn't figure out when they were going to do it. Because, guys, you have to think about the play here, right? So they take Trump and they use him as the battering ram, right? He breaks everything, pisses everybody off, ruins the economy, blah, 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 all the things, all right? But he has immunity, so he can get away with that, all right? And then what they do is eventually they get rid of him, which I'll come back to in a second, and then JD slides in, and he throws people crumbs, but they're thrilled to have it, right? So even though they don't love JD the way that they loved Trump, they're It feels to me like they're killing Trump's support so that it can be transferred to JD Vance. Now, that brings me to something that Mike Johnson said the other day, which I kind of think he accidentally slipped up, because he said something about there are 3 years left in this presidency and for the 2 Trump years. And I was like, what? But guys, if you know what the 22nd Amendment says, which effectively says if the vice president ascends to the presidency, okay, so if he goes from vice president to president before the 2-year mark, right, then that vice president can only serve 1 term after that. Because it's saying that, like, hey, you basically already had your first term over here, okay? But if they let Donald Trump go past the 2-year mark, then JD Vance takes over. Then JD Vance can serve 2 consecutive terms after that if he were able to be elected, if you think we're actually still going to have fair elections. And y'all don't even need to worry about thinking that people would think, oh, what a scandal that JD would leave his wife, you know, this, that. They won't care, because look who they elected already. This man has cheated on every wife, has had 3 wives. They don't care. They care about is whiteness. And a man that's willing to 86 his brown wife to get a white wife, that's a man that they'll vote for. If I were a betting person, I'm not, but if I were, this is what I think will likely happen. It's just my opinion, guys. By spring of 2026, we're going to see either divorce filings or annulment proceedings between the Vances. By fall of 2026, I think we probably see a wedding between JD Vance and Erica Kirk. You know, because we got to get him married and let the sting of the scandal fall away for a while before we let him ascend to the presidency. Sometime in 2027, adios Trump, and that's when JD Vance and his new white wife, the new Aryan power couple, will ascend to the top of the ticket. With their heritage-focused programs, their ideological continuity, and their faith-aligned optics. And the White House looks prepared for its golden age with its locked borders, aligned faith, and narrative perfectly packaged in their new white power couple. And for bonus points, Erica Kirk probably has a bun in the oven because, you know, it helps to sell the story. So again, guys, it's just my theory.
Okay, you guys, this is that infamous photo everyone's talking about. Let's get into this. This is Erica Kirk. This is JD Vance, our vice president. This is Mississippi University, okay? Erica Kirk just introduced him and said in the microphone before he came out that he had some qualities that reminded her of her assassinated husband that's now dead and was assassinated in public. And so when he came up and hugged her for her kind words, she probably was whispering something in his ear right there because it looks like he's listening, and her hand just happened to be there. And she was grateful for the words and the things that him and his wife have done for her. But let's move on from that. And let's talk a little bit about the people that are saying that this is inappropriate. This is completely inappropriate what she's doing right there, being a widow, and a widow just about a month ago, right? Okay, so this is coming from the same people that allow their kids that are under 10 to go to a public library and see what Steve and Chad are going to do orally together because they're discovering their sexuality. They're totally okay with their kids under 10 going to a public school and in their library and being able to read stuff like that. They're totally okay with 1.14 million abortions a year in the USA, 2024, 1.14 million. They're totally good with that. They're totally good with Joe Biden sniffing the hair of young girls while he was president and during and before. Totally cool with that. They're totally cool with Jill Biden kissing Kamala Harris's husband on the lips. Do you remember that one? Oh yeah, they're totally cool with a trans person being out on the White House lawn on gay pride and taking their fucking top off, and they don't even acknowledge it. They invited that person. This is the people that are coming after him and coming after a grieving wife for the position of a hand in an embraced hug between 2 people that are mourning someone that was murdered.
Listen, y'all can say whatever y'all want about Erica Kirk and that hug with JD Vance, but I just know that if my Puerto Rican wife saw a woman do that to me, you all would have a fresh episode of Dateline. So you're welcome.
All right, folks, we have got to talk about this cringeworthy moment between JD Vance and the grieving widow, Erica Kirk. This is one of those that's got everybody talking, and rightfully so, because when you see it, you have so many thoughts and so many questions. I don't know about you all, but when I saw her dressed this way, I thought she was going to a WWE event. I thought maybe she was now entering a feud with Rhea Ripley, and I thought she was going to go out and cut a promo, not go out and introduce the Vice President of the United States. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to shame her for the way she dresses or anything like that, but it's just super awkward that this would be the way a grieving widow would dress, and then this is the way that she would hug the VP and run her fingers through his hair. I actually went looking, believe it or not, before I made this video, I went looking to see if I could find an image of any kind where Jackie Onassis was running her fingers through LBJ's hair. I Googled it every which way I could, and I can't find it. I can find them standing next to one another, looking all solemn. I can find a couple of pictures of them, sitting beside each other, and maybe even sharing a smile, but I have yet to see the picture of Jackie Onassis dressed like that, running her fingers through LBJ's hair. But I'm sure somebody can make that happen. But it didn't happen in real life, because before this whole circus started, people didn't act this way. Now, what's even more weird to me than the way she's dressed is what she said before he came on stage. That's the moment that to me is even more awkward, and you just be the judge for yourself.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible, and I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
Now, I'm sure all of us at some point in our lifetime has known someone who might have moved on a little too soon after they lost their spouse. You may have knew a man or a woman who moved on a little too soon, and you thought, dang, they ain't really even gone yet, and you're already moving on. And if you question that person about why they moved on so fast, usually they will say something to the nature of, well, I saw qualities in this person that reminded me of the person that I lost, and that's why that I clung to them. That's why that I grew close to them, because I saw those qualities in them. And I could tell you, I grew up, when I was watching that, I got to thinking back on growing up in the church. I kind of went back and forth between the Pentecostal church and the Southern Baptist church. And I can tell you one thing, Southern Baptist people absolutely love to gossip. Now, I'm sorry if you're Southern Baptist. I'm not sorry you're offended. I'm just sorry if you're Southern Baptist. But they love to gossip. They love to talk behind each other.
So I woke up to an alarming number of DMs and some unusual activity on my Usha playlist. And I was like, what could have possibly happened? Okay, here's the thing. My respect levels, you all know, for this woman are subterranean. That being said, even I, for like a split second, the flap of a hummingbird's wing, felt a tinge of sympathy when I saw this picture. Listen, if I cradled you while you performed grief for the world, and then a mere like 3 weeks later, you get on stage in front of thousands of people and run your hands through my husband's hair. I'm not even a jealous person. But let's just say this woman wouldn't need a pair of gloves this holiday season. This is public humiliation. I don't know Usha personally and have no concept of whether she gets more insecure about this or walking past an Ashley Home Furniture store with him. And then these stories about him saying this about her. Okay, here's the thing. I know what this looks like. And if these were normal people, I would say, yeah, this man is 100% getting divorced. But you have to remember that all of this is a performance. Every single thing that is happening right now is calculated and deliberate. I know these people come across as the dullest fucking knives in the drawer, but these are all chess moves by the Heritage Foundation. JD Vance is like the world's most unlikable human being. The man has the charm of wet cardboard. Not an ounce of charisma exists in that man's husk. And because the Heritage Foundation knows that in terms of succession, he is the real guy that they can manipulate, they have to make him somewhat, marginally more palatable to MAGA. And they are doing that by aligning him with Arian Barbie over here, who is newly single, because they fully understand that the idea of a brown first lady repulses them. Mixed race children running about the White House, gross. So I think concocting this illusion will win him brownie points with that base. And to be honest, they're not wrong. And keep in mind, this is a base that is also dying to cheat on their wives. So if they can watch a dude cheat on his inferior wife with a shiny new object, you know that they are fist pumping the air, living vicariously through this sentient Pepperidge Farm loaf. All of that to say, this does seem like Bravo, and it could just be temporary to win him a few brownie points, and he'll go back to his miserable wife. However, here's the caveat. If this isn't just temporary, Usha may be in danger. I may have to take this.
The non-South Asians worried about Usha Vance's safety? Don't.
Again, she signed that deal with the devil, and she is 100% smart enough to have a contingency plan in place and blackmail she put aside for a rainy day. That being said, the Heritage Foundation is capable of giving her a political thriller ending. I don't know what's worse for us, I'm gonna be honest. Because if they do, then this one and Arian Barbie are able to get together free and clear and really rile up that base. And we're all fucked. Usha and his unlikability were like the albatross around his neck. He was never gonna really go far. So, in some ways, I'm rooting for Usha here. What a wild ride. I don't know, man. This whole thing is spooky as hell. Happy Halloween.
Holy shit, they are trying to replace Usha Vance with Erica Kirk. Because Erica Kirk and JD Vance is their Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. Because what is this? What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no, you don't. This is weird. Oh, and then there's this one. JD, why are your hands so low? There's no reason for them to be on her hips, but there they are. But if that's not enough, here is her introducing him at Turning Point.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible, and I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do.
And if you're not convinced yet that they're trying to replace her with Erica Kirk, this is him when asked by a student about him and his wife's difference in like their religious beliefs.
This is saying, my man, my man, my man. Because if that is your friend and you got your hand by his head, all women know what that means. The embrace very tightly is saying, I want you bad and I need you. Ciao! As a married man, the hip is intimate. The hip, why it ain't on her back? You cuffing the back, her back. You could have just at least rubbed the back. That's intimate. Is it me? Now, this is allegedly. Did y'all hear that one of them babies is supposedly JD Vance's baby? And that the late husband that passed away ended up finding out and they was on the verge of being divorced. All of that is alleged. We don't know how true that is. But I'm starting to think, is it really true? And then for JD to get up and embarrass his wife like that in front of everybody, basically tell everybody she ain't no believer and we working on her. That type, in front of the world, you ain't do that in front of the circle of your people or conversational pieces. You did it in front of the world because you know why? They have to tell us everything before it happens. I keep telling y'all this. This lady is going to do something in the upper echelons with the biggie wigs. They're going to end up promoting her somewhere. She keeps making appearances. Keep being vocalized. It keeps being televised for all of us to see. She introduced the vice president. Why is she introducing the vice president? Y'all not catching what they putting down. She's going to be in the political realm. That's what they're trying to bring it into our faces so it's normalized. So we'll like her, have sympathy for her story. It was the comment for me. The thing that sent me through the roof the most wasn't even all of that. I was like, okay, give or take. Well, let me tell you what sent me. When she introduced him Her face, her facial expressions was telling the story. Pause that wife. She did a pause. Then she went on to say what she gonna say. It was the end. It was so many things. But it was when she said, he remind me, nobody can take his place. She wanted to cover herself. Nobody can take his place. But he reminds me, there's so many similarities as my husband. And then he gets up and embrace you like that. They're telling us. They want us to see it. They want us to say, this is what's gonna happen. And y'all are telling me that this is not a stage. Are y'all really trying to tell us that we just conspiracy people? We just making all this up, but we all seen it. That's Debbie. It bothers me that when people have spoken out concerning the whole situation, people demonize us for having real life discernment. People demonize people for calling out the obvious of what we all knew and sensed and discerned. I don't play with discernment because discernment will stop a lot of mess in your life. I believe my discernment. And if I get it wrong, I'm go to that person. I got it wrong. I'm sorry. But 99.9% of the time, your discernment is the true spiritual realm of what you're sensing. But people was demonized about the hoax and everything that we seen, and stuff wasn't sitting right in our spirits. Y'all mean to tell me this is normal? And that other wife over there, I know they got a whole group chat. I know her mama, sisters, cousins, and all of them wearing her out, girl. Something. And then the internet, they all on the internet. They checking it out before. They did a whole nother deep dive. They doing a deep dive for her, sending her the receipts. I want people to really wake up and open their eyes that while they're following these people and these, you for the DMs, you for the reps, I hope people really, really open up their eyes and see what the world is, what it is. I can't even get my word formulated. I hope people see what the world is for what it is. I think that was right.
Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, and JD Vance getting all snuggled up on the stage has got people just roaring all over the internet. Yeah, she kind of did that emotional movie grab in the back of his head. Be honest with you, women, would you want, or anybody married, would you want somebody grabbing on your spouse like that in front of the world? And she was in them leather pants. I don't know. A lot of people, I'm not a fan of Erica Kirk. I got nothing bad to say about Charlie or nothing like that. May he rest in peace. I don't agree with the man, nothing like that. I don't agree with anything he had to say, really. But Erica Kirk really just seems to be putting on a damn show all the time. I mean, even when she walked out, and I know a lot of people ain't gonna like it, but I forgive you. Like, how long did she practice that? You know? And just this emotion that she just seems to be so faked. I'm sorry, that's my opinion, like it or not. But JD Vance played right into that. And as a vice president, I thought it was kind of shameful. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. Bye.
What is this? Well, I'm going to go to the cards and we're going to find out what is Usha Vance's energy here. Let's find out if Usha is going to walk away from this marriage with JD. Now, I've already sensed there's already some tension here between the two of them. Well, let's see if any of the same cards come out from the last reading I did. All right, this is for Usha. Sarah, can you please give us 3 cards right now to describe what's happening with Usha? Okay, let me put that up so you all can see. I'm really sensing that she's walking away. She is walking away because she has such a strong traditional values. She's trying to work it out. She knows that something is going on. What's the next card, Spirit? Please, one more card. Thank you. I can feel it in the shuffle of these cards, guys. I can feel it. Her energy is coming through. Oh my God, so strong right now. This card did come out. This one did come out in the last reading. Okay, wow. And then we got the Wheel of Fortune. The cycles ending, cycles beginning. There is an ending here. Breathe, Tanya. This is about a couple. We got the Emperor and the Empress. In addition to that, there are some disagreements about money. So I would imagine that there are arguments right now over how much is she going to get. She's definitely walking away here. She's walking away. This cycle is done, guys. It is over. I'm also sensing that there is an embarrassment. She has just had enough. Now, she's known that this has been going on for a minute, but she was doing everything within her power to try to work through this. So was Vance. They were trying to work through this. Usha is very confident. She is very powerful in her own right. We may not hear her say a bunch of things, but she is a force to be reckoned with. Wheel of Fortune, figuring out her strategy. How is she going to move forward with this? The Emperor and the Empress, that's a pair. Endings, beginnings, clarity, truth, arguments, disagreements, conflict over money, strategizing, how to move forward, weighing heavy decisions right now, but she's managing it very well, which is why I said she is a force to be reckoned with. Don't let her silence fool you. Boom.
What's up, everybody? The day after Charlie Kirk got... I specifically called that Charlie Kirk, well, not Charlie Kirk, that JD Vance and Erica Kirk are the match. I'm still sticking to those guns. And it's going to happen. They're going to try to make it happen. They won't make it very far in the end. But Erica Kirk is definitely going to be paired with JD Vance. Usha, baby, we tried telling you, honey. You knew what you signed up for. He's going to throw you away like the used condom they had to pry out from the fucking couch, sweetheart. And when that happens, guess what? Most of sane America will be here with our arms open to welcome you. And when we do, you better spill fucking everything. But anyways, yeah, Erica Kirk is going to marry JD Vance, and they're going to try and go for the presidency. It's up to you, America, to make sure that doesn't happen.
Y'all, someone said Erica Kirk wore those leather pants to remind JD Vance of the couch that he misses. She looks like she's really, really mourning her husband, even more now than when she was at the funeral with the fireworks and the merch she was selling. I feel really, 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 really bad for her. But the rumor that her and JD Vance are having an affair is like some shit that you couldn't even write. Shonda Rhimes could not even write that in Scandal. It's too fucking good. It's too fucking good. As if life is not already satire, the lady that doesn't care that her husband is dead at all is going to then compare the vice president to her late husband. So when they inevitably do come out public, it's going to be like, oh, well, he reminds me of my late husband. Y'all, be serious. This is not Shondaland.
JD Vance is fucking Erica Kirk. And he's probably been fucking Erica Kirk. JD Vance out here cheating on his wife and his couch.
No one will ever replace my husband.
You sure about that?
No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Erica Kirk must be running a spiritual mentorship program because JD Vance's soul has been saved twice a week.
And Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against.
JD's marriage vows really said till sectional do us part. He treats his couch as a partner and Erica Kirk as a confessional booth. Ooh, she put her hand on his head. I wonder where he got his hands. That's pretty low, bro. That's not a hug. That's a we pray together, but only when the lights are off. That's that praise the Lord, but don't tell my wife grip. Body language says God knows, and so does the group chat. That hug lasted 3 seconds longer than Jesus would approve. Why is he standing there like that? What are you proud of? Like, yeah, I fucked that. So yeah, that's something that's happening.
How y'all doing? You know
when my face is like this, I got something I need to say. Erica. Your name is not even Erica no more. It's Erica. Erica. What's so damn funny? What's funny? My grandma used to say that. She'd be like, what y'all sniggling about? What's going on? Now I understand. I want to laugh too. My hair about like JD's in the back. She done took her hand. Y'all see this? We gonna do like this. And she takes it and she does this little number. Now when my husband does that, I know what time it is. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Now we all up in y'all business. After that hug and hold and caress, we know that you call him JD. Ew. And I'm not even going down the rabbit hole with y'all president. You playing in somebody's wife's face. Okay? That's the biggest eye. Now here's the thing. My husband, he ain't even got no damn hair. But if somebody take their hand and hold the back of his head in a caress, oh, we fighting in the club. We don't want no problems. Who? What? Get your hands out my man's scalp. But either way, we're gonna be slicing and dicing. Don't do that. Don't be playing in people's face like that. Don't do that. What's really pissing me off is the fact that there's so much going on in the world and we got the nerve to be talking about Erica and JD ass. I'm not even gonna say if JD was your man, what would you be? Nobody want JD but Erica. Anyway, let's keep it moving on to bigger and better things.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against, and he can articulate that in a way that transcends race, that transcends demographic backgrounds. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
Snatched. That's the only word I can think of right now. And no, I'm not talking about going to the gym and, I'm going to go get my fitness on and get slim thick, get myself snatched. No, I'm saying that I feel like every fella, their whole lives, their lives will be snatched out of their body if they were married and did something like this. I'm telling you right now, Erica Kirk and the hug with JD Vance that everybody's talking about right now, I'm going to be real. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it happened, but a lot of people are thinking that something weird is going on here. And I'm going to tell you this. It could be like a Christian hug. You know what I'm saying? But even though the hug doesn't look like so much of a Christian hug, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, married men, to my married men out there, and taken men as well, okay? Spoken for men, all right? When you hug another woman that is not your partner, are you doing full body hug? And then the hand on the waist? Bruh, the hand on the waist. Are you doing that? And are you able to walk back to your partner, to your boo thing, without having your head completely removed from your body? I'm asking for a friend, because I'm gonna be real. Those photos and that moment was weird. And again, aren't you like hugging them like this? You know what I mean? Like butt out like this. Like, yeah, I love you too. Butt out like this. You're not doing the whole pelvis to pelvis, holding the waist, her hand in the back of your head. I'm telling you right now, you are not going to be alive the next morning. Am I wrong or am I wrong? I'm just saying. Fellas, the ones that are taking, and ladies, you were hugging a man like this? You mean to tell me that this would be okay? Your man wouldn't be like, baby, what's up with that? What's up with that, girl? You tell me he'd be fine with that? They were so close that they could have made a baby together. You feel me? It's weird. It's weird. But you tell me. I'm just saying, I can see it being innocent, but it was a step a bit too far. Let me know what your thoughts are. My God. JD got some explaining to do, cabrón. Damn.
The evil of the left and the levels at which they'll stoop truly knows no bounds, as now the latest rumor that they're running around trying to spread is that something inappropriate is going on between JD Vance and Erica Kirk. Now, obviously, this is terrible for a whole host of reasons, starting with the fact that Charlie Kirk hasn't even been dead 6 months yet, not even half of a year, and they're already making up rumors surrounding his wife. They're trying to say because she does not grieve in the way that they expect her to, that something must be off with her, that something is fishy with her, because clearly they know her on such a personal level, right? Clearly they know what's going on behind closed doors and they know her actual thoughts and emotions, right? This woman that they've been trying to demonize pretty much since her existence, they all of a sudden know her so well that they know exactly how she should be grieving, and it's not up to par for them, which is just a disgusting thing to say. Everybody grieves differently. You have no idea what's actually going on in her life, so just leave the woman alone. Stop trying to make up sick rumors about her. Stop trying to say that she didn't truly love Charlie. You know nothing about their relationship. On top of that, JD Vance is happily married to Usha Vance, who is an absolutely wonderful woman. People are trying to say that there's turmoil in their relationship because JD Vance said that he wishes that his wife was a Christian, which is why the Bible says that you shouldn't have unequally yoked relationships, but overall, the two of them are happy as could be. There has never been a sign that there's something going wrong with them. There's never been a sign of them being unhappy. They are extremely close and they have a large amount of respect for one another. So this idea that JD Vance would cheat on his wife with Charlie Kirk's widow is just insane to me. It just goes to show that they don't care who they hurt. They don't care how they slander somebody. They don't care if what they're saying is based in reality or not. If they think that it's going to score them some political points, they're just going to say it.
Ain't it funny how black folks are always seen as ghetto and messy, but in reality, white folks be doing the same thing that we be doing, but nobody talks about it like that. Case in point, Erica Kirk and JD Vance. Because how do you let the vice president of America get on stage and say, yeah, I hate my wife, she brown, I don't like brown people, even though I married her, had kids with her. You know what I'm saying? I want this hot piece of white American ass, that blonde hair, blue eye joint. I need that. I need that. Yeah, matter of fact, leave your religion. Leave your religion. I really hate that you a Hindu shorty. I need American in my system. I need that good old fashioned Christian nationalism in my system and in my bed. Why did I marry you from the jump? I don't know. And then he goes on to hug his dead homie's widow. And his hands was getting real close to that equator. Getting real close to that butt. And not only that, she giving him words of affirmations. Saying he just like my husband. Just like him. I wonder what else he could do for me. You know what I'm saying? Can he dig it out? Like, these are our politicians, our political leaders. And they're acting like they're in a goddamn Tyler Perry movie. These are supposed to be people who are representative of America. People that are supposed to put America in a good light. And y'all being messy as shit on that stage. Gripping up that other woman when your wife with the kids over there. In front of your wife. You are despicable, JD. Despicable.
Okay, I'm finally going through the 1,300 comments from my video yesterday, and whoever posted this graphic in the fucking comments, god damn. You had to have her stand on a coffin? On a coffin. Brilliant. Thanks for that.
Usha Vance's husband is as good as fucked and took by Erica Kirk, okay? And I don't feel bad for her because she knew who the fuck she married. She married a hillbilly inbred from fucking Ohio. She knew he was evil, and she still got the fuck on with it.
Erica Kirk is going to be JD Vance's vice presidential candidate, and this is how I know. I know it's really early to even be talking about this, but when I saw this picture, I was like, oh, all of these moments are curated. We're starting to see a lot in the press about how Usha Vance has played a pivotal role in the support for Erica. We were the only other people with her when his body was flown back to Arizona. JD Vance hosted his podcast last week. And I think it's really important to note that this is a moment where the Republican Party was starting to fracture over the Epstein files. This happens, it unites everybody. There were 200,000 people that showed up for the funeral today. And it's a really unique moment for JD Vance to step in and be able to wield some of this power that Trump will be losing when he cannot run again. Yes, this happened today at the funeral, but the MAGA movement has to figure out how to funnel the adoration away from Trump, right? Because he is old. And what better way to do it than with Erica Kirk?
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man.
What you're going through in life is going to affect whether you can relate to the music I'm putting out at any given moment. So right now, if you're not getting a good down by like a really well-hung man, you probably won't relate to my new album. The rule of show business, since you guys aren't in show business and don't know what it is if it's the first week of my album release and you are either saying my name or my album title, you are helping. I actually didn't care if you hated it. I wanted you to hate it. You don't understand show business. That's what I wanted. And art, I have a lot of respect for people's subjective opinions on art. I'm not the art police. Like, everyone is allowed to feel exactly how they want to feel. And the goal for us as entertainers is to be like a mirror. And oftentimes, an album is a really, really wild way to look at yourself, right? Like, I'm gonna mansplain what an album is now. What you're going through in life is going to affect whether you can relate to the music I'm putting out at any given moment. So right now, if you're not getting a good down by like a really well-hung man, you probably won't relate to my new album. And what I often love seeing my fans say is, like, they didn't used to be someone who related to Reputation and now they've been through some stuff in their life and it's their favorite album. Or, you know, they used to be like a fearless girly and now they're obsessed with Evermore. So again, mansplaining it, it's going to depend on what you're going through in your life. If you're not engaged to a well-hung football player who he and I collectively have millions of dollars, you're not going to get it. And like, we're doing this thing for keeps, right? When I am making my music, I have my eye on my legacy. And my legacy right now is about getting it on in the bedroom. And that's what I'm going to sing about and write about. I know what I made and I know I adore it. And I know I adore Travis's wood, and that's all that's on my mind. So besides that and, you know, some high school drama stuff, that's my life. That and yachts and private jets. And I know that's on theme of what like the showgirl is. And all of this is part of that. So that's my new album. I'm not the art police.
This message is to Usha Vance. Girl, you gotta watch your husband. When was this, you ask? Oh, let's rewind a little bit.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. A very, very dear friend and his wife. No one will ever replace my husband.
You know how badly she wanted to say, but
I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Just kidding. She did say but.
He understands the fight that we're up against, and he can articulate that in a way
anyone else sick to their stomach watching this. The discernment.
He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
And that's why I am so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. Because he understands the fight that we are up against. And he can articulate that in a way that transcends race, that transcends demographic backgrounds. He's an amazing man. So please, help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance. And that was my interpretation or my presentation of the last 30 seconds of Erica Kirk introducing JD Vance. Now, if I were someone who had not seen that entire event already, I would think, oh, this woman is talking about her husband. She's talking about how great her husband is at articulating in a way that transcends race and demographic backgrounds, and he's just such an amazing man, and I'm blessed to be able to introduce him. Followed by the whole, like, hand on the back of the head, like that, the whole thing. This does not add up. Usha, you are in danger, girl.
Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, introduced JD Vance at a Turning Point event. I want you guys to watch the video, and I'll be right back.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against, and he can articulate that in a way that transcends. He's an amazing man.
What is going on? Y'all know I'm a Scorpio, and boy, my intuition is blaring right now. My tummy is going, something is afoot. This is the smile she's given when talking about JD Vance. Look how wide it is. Look how her eyes are smiling. Look at it. She is absolutely head over heels in friendship with JD Vance. That's crazy, right? It's a big ass smile. That's okay. You can have a big ass smile for one of your friends. But this is the face you give when you're talking about his wife. Look how her eyes are squinting. Her fucking mouth is down and she's biting on one side. This is, I don't like your wife. I don't like the fact you have a wife. I don't like wifey. That is what that face is. Let's watch how she's talking about JD Vance. Pay attention to her face. Pay attention to the fact when she closed her eyes, she is thinking about something. And when she opens her eyes again, her smile.
A very, very dear friend.
Now I'm going to play the part where she's talking about JD Vance's wife. Her smile disappears. He purses her lips. Looks like she's biting, like she's trying not to say something. So she's biting her lip. And then she shakes her head. No, twice. Watch.
His wife. They.
Slow-mo. You see the lips?
They.
And then she shakes her head again.
And his wife. They.
Now, I used to watch this show called Lie to Me, where it teaches you about micro expressions that people have, things that they do that they cannot help. I am not a professional, but I am a Scorpio, and I can feel when something is off, and I can sense when there's lies going on, and there is something afoot. The way that her facial expressions were when she was talking about his wife means she don't like that lady. And the way her facial expressions were when she was talking about JD Vance, she really likes that dude. This is weird, y'all. I told y'all that lady was weird, but whatever. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But I'm going to say this, and this is my personal opinion. I don't think she was in love with Charlie Kirk. Like, I'm going to keep it real. Because if my husband got pew-pewed in front of everybody, person I love, I couldn't be over here smiling and doing all that. It just feels off. Yeah, everybody grieves in their own way. That is true. But you still gotta grieve. And you smiling like that and kissing up on JD Vance and shit. I don't know. Something is afoot. But that video was cringe. Just like, what is going on? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Am I reaching? I don't think I'm reaching. Something is off. Something's afoot.
Okay, but this is actually insane that some people are claiming that Erica Kirk must have had something to do with her husband's assassination because she is not grieving the same way that you would grieve. Listen, I love a good conspiracy. But insinuating that Erica had something to do with her husband's death because she's not grieving the way that you would grieve is insane. Because newsflash, not everybody grieves the same. You have to understand that Erica went from being a stay-at-home wife and mother running a small Bible app to being the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company because her husband was assassinated in front of the entire world. And you have the audacity now to question how she is handling the situation. Here's the thing. Unless you have been through this very specific situation, back off and give her some grace. Instead of insinuating that Erica had something to do with her husband's murder, do something actually useful and pray for her. Because I guarantee that when the cameras are off and she's behind closed doors, she is an absolute shambles.
Woo, JD! Last time I hugged a woman like this, she told me it was mine, boy. Look at her, the head up in the air. She rubbing on my scalp now, but back in the day, boy, I used to get hugs like this. That means she want it. JD better stand for just drained. Look, JD done went to Taj Mahal, decided he ain't like it. Now he telling this woman publicly that I want you to switch over. Now, why would you marry a woman that you know believes a certain religion and not yours, but now you want to marry her and you want to get her to convert? Just let me know when the Erica Kirk JD Vance wedding is. I'm probably not invited, but I might still be there.
I'm just going to go ahead and call it now. They are positioning them for a 2028 presidential run. The timing of his death is too convenient. Trump just came out the other day admitting that he would not be able to run for a third term. And let's keep it real, he's not going to live till 2028. You're looking at presidential candidate for 2028 Republican Party and vice presidential candidate. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, so, Erica Kirk and JD Vance, yeah, they doing the hibbity-dibbity. Like, that shit already happened. That's a thing. The way that he put his hands on her, like around her waist, that didn't do it for me. Like, men are men and, you know, they do stuff like that. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. What means something is what she did. The way that she held his head, that is an intimate ass thing. That is, you don't do that with just anybody. That's not a thing. You could hear maybe my Halloween decorations going off in the back, but yeah, I just had to say that. They fucking, allegedly, but for sure.
At first, I was giving her all the grace in the world, right? Your husband get hit like that in front of the whole world, I'm giving you grace. But now the stargazing and the overly dramatic emotions is coming off really, really weird, all right? On top of that, at the event the other day, the way her and JD Vance were hugging Just seemed a little touchy. I'm not claiming that there's anything going on there. I'm just talking about the visual and the way it looked. It did not look right, okay? I'm not the only person that's saying this or thinking it. But the over dramatic, I understand she's a trained actor, I believe, right? And a model, but it that can't be your whole personality. And it seems like that's her entire personality. Everything she does just seems like she's playing a role, right? It's just giving everybody the icks. On top of the how close her and JD Vance has came. Now there's rumors swirling and roaring about JD Vance possibly leaving his wife for Erica Kirk. Listen, if JD is dumb enough to do something like that, his political career is over because you show zero loyalty to anything. You married to the brown woman, Sasha. You picked your poison. You made your bed. You got to sleep in that bed. All right. I understand that the right is getting real racialist right now, but I don't think that's the play. All right. I don't think JD Vance is leaving his wife for Erica. But the dramatics around this entire thing is just starting to stink. Really, it's starting to fucking stink. All right. To be honest, I'm off of Erica. I'm off of TPUSA. I'm off of it. Too many lies, too much hiding, too many secrets. Nothing about that entire situation, that group over there, is giving me any confidence in the future of America.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.